What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Druid, and I've done 4 different specs for you guys with some pre-raid best in slot gear that you guys can use and equip before stepping foot into Blackfathom Deep's the first raid for the first time. We're going to be going over balance, resto, feral DPS, and a feral tank build. So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with our runes. On our chest, we have Fury of Storm Rage, which is reduce the mana cost of your Wrath by 100%, and each time you deal damage with Wrath, you have a 12% chance for your next cast of Healing Touch within 15 seconds to be instant. So right off the bat, that 100% mana cost reduction on Wrath is pretty insane. And then for our legs, we're going to take Star Surge. I'm not even sure if it's going to be worth weaving this into your rotation at this point, but either way, we'll take Star Surge, just test it out, see what's going on. But with Wrath having lower cast time and having the 100% mana reduction, it might not even be worth throwing this in. This will have a lower cast time as well. It says that it benefits from and triggers most talents and effects that trigger or benefit from Wrath or Starfire. But yeah, we'll test it out. We'll see how it goes. And then obviously on our hands, we're going to take Sunfire for that additional dot. Moving on to our talents, we have 5 points in Improve Wrath to reduce the cast time by 0.5. Next, we're going to put 5 points in Improve Moonfire, increase the damage and critical strike chance of your Moonfire spell by 10%. 3 points into Natural Shapeshifter, 2 points into Nature's Reach, and then 1 point into Vengeance, which will just give you increase the critical strike damage bonus of your Starfire, Moonfire, and Wrath spells by 20%. So that means that would also affect Star Surge as well if we are going to be weaving that into our rotation. Now let's take a brief look at some gear. We're going to use Engineering Goggles, Bright Eye Goggles for that 9 Spirit, 9 Stamina. Any Intellect or Owl Necklace will do here. And then for our shoulders, our back, our chest, our bracers, and our weapon, we're going to go with Nature's Wrath pieces to get some nature damage because we're going to be spamming Wrath with 0 mana cost and a lower cast time because of our build. And then on our hands, belt, and legs pieces, we're going to go with Arcane Wrath for Star Surge and Moonfire. Remember, we don't have to worry about mana here. We have a 100% reduced mana cost on Wrath. That rune, Fury of Storm Rage, is actually completely broken. I think balanced druids are actually going to do really good in phase 1. So moving on to our boots, we have Spider Silk boots for that 7 Spirit, 4 Intel, 4 Stamina. The Advisor's Ring from the Warsong Gulch Reputation, honored. And then we're moving on to our next ring, which will be the Deep Fathom Ring if you're Horde, or the Lavishly Jeweled Ring if you're Alliance, and you can go into Dead Mines. Moving on to our trinkets, nothing here will increase our DPS, so don't worry about these slots. But let's move on to the Resto Druid. So for the Resto Druid, our chest rune, we're going to take Living Seed. I'm not sure how this is going to be. I'm not sure if it's going to be worth taking this. Again, this is just speculation, but it may be more worth it to take Fury of Storm Rage and just spam free Wrath and then get those instant cast healing touches. Like that might be better. That might be the meta. So I'm not sure. We're gonna have to really play with this. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. So I'm not 100% sure on this, but I guess for the purposes of this, we'll take Living Seed. And then for our legs, we'll take Life Bloom, which reduces the global cooldown of Rejuvenation and Life Bloom abilities by 0.5 seconds. And you gain the Life Bloom ability. Heals the target for 45 over 7 seconds. When Life Bloom completes its duration or it's dispelled, the target instantly heals for 91 and the Druid regains half the cost of the spell. This effect can stack up to 3 times on the same target, so we're going to take Life Bloom there as another hot, and then obviously Wild Growth for some nice AoE healing. As for our talents, we're going to put 5 points in Improved Mark of the Wild to increase its effectiveness by 35%, 5 points in Improved Healing Touch to reduce the cast time of Healing Touch by 0.5 seconds, 3 points into Reflection to allow 15% of our mana regeneration to continue while casting, and then 3 points in Subtlety to reduce our threat generated by our healing spells by 12%. So as for gear here, we're going to go with the Engineering Goggles, the Necklace of Concentration for +2 mana. I think mana will be an issue here, so we do need to be cautious of that and stack a little bit of Spirit and MP5. The Feline Mantle from Shadowfang Keep, Banded Cloak of Healing, or any healing cloak will do to get some plus healing. The Robes of Aragul are really nice because they have 10 Spirit on them, 9 Intellect. That's going to be really nice. And then the Bracers, we're going to get Healing Bracers, and then our Advisor's Staff. The Advisor's Staff you can pick up from Revered Reputation with Warsong Gulch. And that's going to be really nice because it gives you 9 Stamina, 5 Intel, and 3 MP5. As for our gloves, belt, and leg slot, we're going to go with healing items to get more plus healing. As you can see at the bottom here on this build, I have 91 plus healing at level 25, which is really nice. It's a nice mixture of spirit and intel gear and healing gear. And then for our boots, we're going to go with these spider silk boots, which are tailor crafted, 7 spirit, 4 intel on those, which is going to be really nice. And then the advisor's ring, which is that Warsong Gulch ring. You're going to just need to get honored with that. It's not bad. You're going to get 2 MP5, 5 healing, and 2 stamina from that. And then either the Band of Concentration as your ring, or the Deep Fathom ring if you're Horde, or the Lavishly Jeweled ring if you're Alliance and you're going to Dead Mines. Either one will do the trick. Again, here, trinkets don't really matter. So let's move on to Feral DPS. So here, this is a no-brainer for Feral DPS. Chest rune, we're going to take Wild Strikes. This is basically Wind Fury for your entire party. So that's really nice. While you're in cat form, bear form, dire bear form, party members within 20 yards gain increased combat ferocity. Each melee hit has a 20% chance of granting the attacker an extra attack with 20% additional attack power. No effect if the party member is already benefiting from Wind Fury totem. This is a no-brainer. We take Wind Fury or Wild Strikes. And then on our leg rune, we're going to take Savage Roar, a finishing move that increases physical damage done by 30% while in cat form. This is going to be something that you just want to keep up all the time. Don't even ever let this fall off. It is just such a massive DPS increase that you need to keep this up. And then on our hand rune, we're obviously going to take Mangle. Mangle the target for 160% normal damage and cause the target to take 30% additional damage from bleed effects and shred for 1 minute. So you're going to keep Mangle up on the target. You're going to keep Savage Roar up. You're going to maybe do 5 combo point rips on them and then just shred. That's going to basically be your rotation with power shifting with Furor. So getting into our talents, our first 5 are going to go into Furor here to give you a 100% chance to gain 10 rage when you shift into bear form, or 40 energy when you shift into cat form. This is absolutely necessary. You will need to power shift to do competitive DPS still. And then 5 points into ferocity to lower that cost of swipe, claw, rake, maul, and mangle, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so mangle, this ability benefits from and triggers all effects associated with claw and maul. So that's going to reduce the energy cost of Mangle by 5 as well. So that's absolutely necessary. And then there's really no other talents here that would benefit your DPS. I toyed around with the idea of putting 5 more points into Improve Mark of the Wild, and then maybe going into like Insect Swarm and throwing that up as a dot as you like enter combat. But I do think it's better to just go into balance. Use your 5 points into Nature's Grasp and improve Nature's Grasp, and then just put 1 point in Natural Weapons to just get a flat 2% damage increase. So let's talk about a gear a little bit here. We have the Bright Eye Engineering Goggles again. Any necklace of the tiger will do. You're going to want agility and strength pretty hard here. As for our shoulders, you can go with the Mantle of Thieves, which is a BOE, and I'm not really sure if it's going to be around because it drops in Razorfen Crawl, and I don't think many people will be doing that. So try and get your hands on Bristlebark because these shoulders here give you 6 agility, 3 strength. They will be like the highest DPS shoulders you can get, but if you can't get those, any shoulders with agility and strength will do. As for our cloak slot, we're going to go with the Glowing Lizard Scale Cloak if you're Horde, or the Cape of the Brotherhood if you're Alliance. Either one of those will do the trick. They both give you that 6 agility, and the second stat on them won't increase your DPS. As for our chest piece, get anything of agility, right? The Dervish Tunic of Agility is 11 agility. That's a lot of agility. But if you can get anything with like 8+ agility on it, that will do the trick here. Jurassic Wrist Guards are another good world drop that if you can get your hands on these, they'll be pretty big. That 2 strength, 5 agility on those. And then even if you're Horde, I do think it is worth going to Dead Mines and farming Smite's Mighty Hammer. 11 strength, 4 agility on this 2-hander is humongous, and there's just no weapon that will compare at this level. As for our gloves, we have toughened leather gloves. These are leatherworker crafted. They're 6 agility, 6 spirit, 3 stamina. Very good gloves. Pathfinder Belt of the Tiger for some agility and strength, and Leggings of the Fang are really good from Wailing Caverns. Even if you're playing an Alliance Druid, I would try and get these legs. 5 strength, 4 stam, 9 agility. If you think about it, we're going to be in Ashenvale anyway, so if you're Alliance, just run on down to the Barrens with a group and just farm this anytime you can. These legs are absolutely enormous. The Warsong Boots, which you're going to get from getting the Warsong Supplies quest in Ashenvale, they're pretty big. You're going to get 8 agility, 6 stamina with those, and then Silverlane's Family Seal is pretty huge. It drops in Shadowfang Keep, 7 strength, 3 stamina. Legionnaire's Band, which is another Warsong Gulch rep ring. You just need to get to honored, and that's pretty big. You're going to get 4 strength, 4 agility, 2 stamina on that. Moving down to trinkets. None of these trinkets will increase your DPS, so don't worry about that at all. But let's move on to the feral tank. Okay, so for our feral tank druid, obviously on our chest room, we're going to take survival of the fittest. Reduce the chance you'll be critically hit by melee attacks by 6%, and reduce all damage taken by 10%. Damage taken reduced by an additional 10% while in bear form or dire bear form. Absolute no-brainer. That's your tanking rune. And then I pick up Skull Bash here because you're not going to be able to use Savage Roar. That's for cat form. And Skull Bash will be really nice. It's going to be basically an extra charge and a kick combined. So you have an interrupt and an extra charge, which is pretty cool because you're going to already have Feral Charge. And on your hand rune, here is where I'm having a little bit of issues. At some points in Classic WoW, Lacerate is worth taking, and some points it's not. Sometimes Mangle generates more threat, even though Lacerate says causes a high amount of threat. I'm not sure how it's going to work in Season of Discovery, so I would say take Lacerate. That's meant to be like the tanking, bleed stacking talent. It generates a high amount of threat. But there are some instances where Mangle just simply puts out way more threat. So we're going to have to test this, but for the purposes of this build, we're going to take Lacerate. And then I put 5 points into Ferocity, reduce the cost of your Maul, Swipe, Claw, and Rake abilities by 5 Rage or Energy. 1 point into Brutal Impact, 5 points into Feral Instinct to increase threat caused in Bear and Dire Bear form by 15%. 1 point in Feral Charge to get that Feral Charge, so now we have 2 charges between that and Skull Bash. 3 points in Sharpened Claws, increase your critical strike chance in Bear, Dire Bear, and Cat form by 6%, and then 1 point in Primal Fury gives you 50% chance to gain an additional 5 Rage anytime you get a critical strike. Now, looking at our gear, basically what we're going to be stacking here is Agility and Stamina. So I have the Engineering Goggles yet again, a Necklace of the Bear, the Earthen Leather Shoulders with 7 Stamina, the Banded Cloak of the Bear, or any Cloak of the Bear will do, 4 Stamina, 4 Strength. Enchanted with 3 agility. We have Black and Defias armor, 11 stamina, 3 agility, 4 strength. We have the Headhunter's Bands of the Monkey, 4 agility, 4 stamina. Again, Smite's Mighty Hammer, super worth getting, guys. You really should just get this, even if you're Horde. There is just nothing that will compare for Druids at this level. The Toughened Leather Gloves again, the leatherworking gloves. Scaled Leather Belt of the Bear. We got 6 stamina, 6 strength there. Again, you're seeing the Leggings of the Fang come up. They're just too big to pass up. They really are the best in slot at this level. Warsong Boots, again, from that Ashenvale quest, 8 agility, 6 stamina, massive. Seal of Sylvanas, again, that's from Shadowfang Keep, so just go farm it. 8 stamina, 3 strength is huge, and the Legionnaire's Band, yet again, from that Warsong rep, you just need to get honored for that 4 strength, 4 agility, 2 stamina. And then Rune of Perfection, that's going to be a pretty good one. You just need to be friendly, and that's an easy 4 stamina. And decreases the magical resistances of your spell targets by 10. Not really going to affect you as a feral tank, but that 4 stamina is nice. And then if you want to challenge, you can go farm Arena Grandmaster for that extra dodge chance and that nice bubble. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun going over the Druid runes and gear. I felt like it was like one of the classes where I had to really dive in and look at a ton of different gear and see what was worth it and what wasn't. Look at these talents, because early on their talent trees are very, very poor in my opinion. Like, it's very hard to like benefit a feral DPS spec at level 25 with those talents, but I think we did a good job at it. So if you guys have any comments, drop them down below. If you have nothing to say, drop an emoji. It helps me out with the algorithm. And if you are enjoying this content, subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications. I am going to be pumping out content all throughout Season of Discovery, and you guys seem to be enjoying it, so thank you so much for the support. If you want to hang out with me live, I stream on Twitch Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. And if you guys want to access this build or any of the other builds I've done, they're in the community Discord in their respective class channels. So just head on over to the Discord, go to the Druid channel, and this build will be pinned on there. But anyways, guys, that's all I've got for you today. So thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.